Hello, this is Nicole with Angelic Therapy and Healing, bringing you a general reading for the week of Monday, July 3rd through Sunday, July 9th. First off, for everyone that is celebrating here in the United States, Independence Day, July 4th, I do hope everyone is enjoying their holiday, enjoying their celebrations, and having safe travels and such with your family and friends. For everyone else, anyone that's new to the channel, welcome. Very glad to have you here. Hopefully you will get some information from today's reading that will help with your journey and things that you are going through right now. And for those that have been subscribers for a while, very glad to have you here. Thank you. I look forward to hearing your comments and everything below. So let's go ahead and get started. For those that are interested in the cards we're using today, I have Doreen Virtue's Archangel Power Tarot deck, her Mary Queen of Angels deck. I also have the Angel Answers and the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. I've also prayed over and shuffled my Lenormands and Sibylla's. So if we need those are ready as well. I have asked that each of you receives at least one message. Please remember this is for a large audience, so you might find that you only have one message in it since it is not a personal reading, but hopefully you will have more than one. But just keep in mind it is for a large number of people. So you might only find one or two messages. It's not going to be like a personal message, although I am glad to hear that some of the messages are like personal messages for some of you. That's very exciting. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'll look in a minute. Okay. We're going to be covering 3 different situations today. Okay, let's see. Not too bad at all. So let's move them over just a little bit. Likely post this, so for those of you that leave comments and such, I actually am going to be out of town for the 4th, so I am actually recording this in advance. So if you leave any comments, do not be discouraged, because I will also be celebrating the holiday and will be out of state with family and friends. So please leave your comments and such. I will get back with you when I get back in town, but don't be alarmed when you don't hear from me right away. So let's see. Okay, so we have situation 1, 2, and 3. And what we have is the situation, what's blocking you, what it is that is unknown, and the recommendations that you have. So, dropping stuff on the floor. Okay. So let's see here. Okay. So for looking at it right off the bat, those of you that are in situation 1, you do have a little bit more control over it than the other situations. If you're not familiar with tarot, there are major arcana cards. That would be these. Those are things that are destined, fated. You cannot control them. You don't really have control over them. Whereas the minor arcana cards, you do have a little bit more control over those things. So the good thing is, those of you that are in situation 1, you do have a little bit more control over your situation. So you do have the ability to shift it and change it a little bit more than people that are in situation 2 and 3. And let me see if you guys, without knocking the puppy down, see how close we need to have that. Okay. So you have Queen of Michael, and at the top it says brilliant, self-reliant, insightful, humorous, and across the bottom it says you know exactly what to do, the benefit of experience, a time for your career rather than relationships. And this is traditional tarot. This would be the Swords suit, which is all about communications, particularly internal communications with ourselves. For those of you that are interested in signs, this would be like an air sign. which are Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, but it's really for any sign. But this card is all about knowing exactly what we need to do, having learned from our past experiences that have prepared us, being able to use our sense, because the Queen of Michael, she has a good sense of humor. She is very intellectual. She's very, actually, they would say brilliant mind. She has a brilliant mind, great sense of humor. She has a ton of experiences, very diverse. She's courageous, perceptive. She's very analytical, can think things through. That's how she became the queen. Also has gone through transformation. If you look, there's some butterflies on both sides and then also encircling her around her head. So she has gone through transformations, and yet she's remained cool, calm, and collected. Now, the only concern with that is in traditional tarot, it's all about, you know, balancing our thoughts with our actions and the truth. Because the Queen of Swords, she's all about the truth. But Queen of Michael, she's taking those gifts, taking those skills, blending it all easily with her sense of humor, so she can take her wisdom, blend it with her sense of humor. That's how she's become the queen. And for those of you in this situation, you are really focused on your career. You are making a lot of progress and advancements in your career. So for some of you, you've started your own business, you've been promoted at work, but you're having a lot of success with that. But that is because you have disconnected yourself emotionally, which is the thing with the Queen of Swords. She's brilliant, she's witty, she's intelligent, she's powerful, go-getter, but she can be disconnected from the emotions for protection. So she can lack emotion, which is the only concern with that, which is why those of you in situation one, you are focused on your career at this time. And it is a protective thing. Now, if you notice, she's also surrounded by all these yellow roses. And yellow roses, they, you know, their symbolism of joy, happiness, cheerfulness, you know, the sun and its life-giving warmth. So she's not emotionally cold, but she has closed herself off to protect herself. Like if you look, she even has her arm across her heart. So for some of you who have gone through a situation with someone, for many of you a partner, a love interest, a spouse, but you have gone through something that for some of you, it's broken your heart. So now out of protection, you've closed yourself off and you've just become focused on your career, things that you're doing. You're having huge success. You've become the queen. You're sitting on your throne, but you're sitting on your throne by yourself. Your king isn't there. You have this white dove. Doves mate for life. And many of you have, as part of your process that you've gone through a spiritual transformation as well. You've gone through personal transformation and spiritual transformation. And the personal transformation, that's like for some of you, you've changed careers, you've started your own businesses, you have been promoted, you have been extremely successful. But you're guarded emotionally. Now the reason, what is blocking you, you have the Knight of Gabriel, and it says confident, enthusiastic, courageous, charismatic, and at the bottom it says time to take action, great passion for a cause, instinctively knowing just what to do. And this is traditional tarot. This would be a Wands card, which is fire. So for those of you that care about signs, this would be like Sagittarius, Leo, Aries. But this card is all about taking action, doing something. You know, that the situation needs your attention, it needs you to take action, it needs you to do something, it needs you to urgently do something with speed, certainty, and commitment. And the Knight of Gabriel is someone that's, you know, very passionate. can also be someone that's very single-minded, because in traditional tarot, the Knight of Wands, which is the Knight of Gabriel in this deck, it's someone who, you know, rushes in. They seek adventure. They're always looking for that adrenaline rush. They have no fear. And oftentimes they don't think things through. It's very, very rash, very quick, very reckless. You know, there's that saying that fools rush in. And that can often happen with the Knight of Gabriel or Knight of Wands in the traditional deck. So what's blocking those of you in situation 1 is you had someone, and for many of you it's a love interest. It's a love interest, it's a partner. You're no longer together. But they rushed in like, you know, a knight on the white horse. They rushed in, it was very quick, but they just as quickly rushed out. And it was very abrasive. Because knights, you know, they're still young, they're still maturing, they're still growing, they haven't stepped into becoming kings yet. So it was also someone emotionally immature, who was not making mature emotional decisions. You see how the dust is all picked up underneath the horse's feet? So you had this love interest for you, many of you felt this strong connection, like, oh my gosh, that's the one. But just as quickly as he came in, he went out. And like the dust is, you know, the dust is just settling. Because as some of you were even surprised by his departure, or his disconnecting. Now earlier they were pointing out how her arm is crossed over her chest, protecting her heart. So, you know, you had this love of lifetime, this love interest come in. You thought it was going to be an adventure with them, but then they took off and it left you guarded, protecting yourself. And for some of you, they took off to go be with someone in the past. The horse is facing, when you look at tarot cards, to the right is the future, to the left is the past. So for some of you tonight, he took off to go back to the past. Now, as far as what is unknown, you have the card Mending. And this is card 52. In this deck, it's actually the last card. And this is all about forgiveness, healing after arguments, separation, making amends, improving things. Because anytime that we've gone through something painful and hurtful, whether we've done it or someone has done it to us, it really does leave a burden, and it can chain us to things. It can keep us stuck. It can keep us guarded. We can keep reliving that pain, those memories, those things that we need to heal. But this is all about, you know, the time has come to heal this wound, heal this rift. Let go of those hurts, step back into our power. Forgive, release, make peace, set ourselves free. And those of you that this is a love relationship, it's time for forgiveness in order for you to be able to move forward. So for some of you, you're still angry with how they treated you, or how they departed, or the things that they said to you. And for some, the block is that this person has not come back in to apologize. They left, and you're still stuck because you're like, okay, I felt this great connection. Why can't he see this? Why can't he see how this hurt? Why is there no explanation? Why is there no apology? But sometimes people aren't going to communicate those things to us. It's hard. It's harder for us when we don't have closure, because to have some information, have an explanation, have an apology can give us some closure. But for some of you, you're not going to receive that. And we all make mistakes. and we learn from them, we grow from them. But some of you that met this person, you're like, okay, I really want this. I'm really desiring this. And it fell apart. But for some of you, there is going to be an apology. There is going to be mending. That's the thing that you're not aware of. So for everyone in this situation, you do have to forgive them. You have to forgive yourself, even without having a conversation with them. And then for others, see this spool? It's blue. Blue is the color of communications. This is all about communications. So for some of you, there are going to be some conversations and communications that will heal this situation, and that is what you are unaware of at this time. Now, as far as what it's recommending that you do in the meantime, because for some of you, you just lost hope and love, you've just kind of given up, and you have a lot of blessings and things around you. You have the card blessings. Today I count my blessings, small and large, and I notice the new gifts that come to me from God. And this is really all about being grateful, being thankful for the things that you have, because in the law of attraction, the more that we are thankful for what we have, the more gifts that we will receive. Now, let me actually read the book real quick, because I think there's a prayer in there for that. A number of her cards in this deck have a prayer. This one does not, but we're still going to read it, because I think you may find some messages in here. Okay. You receive this card as a reminder of the power of gratitude. Perhaps you've been feeling sorry for yourself lately, or feeling as if God has forgotten about you. Mother Mary reminds you that your prayers are answered in many different ways and guides you to notice all of the gifts and blessings you already have. Sometimes shifting your focus from what's wrong to what's right can make you notice new blessings that have previously been overlooked. This is a card of optimism, asking you to purposefully and consciously focus upon everything and everyone that you're grateful for. You can make a mental or written list daily, ideally to train your mind to notice all the gifts you already have. By doing so, you're more likely to notice the new ones coming your way. This card also signals that new blessings are entering your life as answered prayers. So be thankful for what you do have. And actually, an abundance journal is something that's very powerful for many people, because what they'll find is, instead of being in a state of lack, because when you've had something hit you, and for some, having that strong love fall apart, it can be crushing. And it can cause us to look at, okay, what's wrong in life? What's not going smoothly? What's not happening? And we notice that it just seems like things keep getting worse. Whereas if we can shift our perspective and start being thankful for the little things we have, we'll notice every day that there's more and more and more for us to be thankful for and blessed for. So if you can start a journal, you can write in it throughout the day, or you can write in at the end of the day, writing down the things that you're thankful for. That will bring about more blessings, and you'll notice that things will turn around quicker. Okay, let's pull real quick. Actually, we'll just do Queen of Michael. Okay. So we have the Limoneo, La Superbia, and La Grazia. See if you guys can see those. So this is union, marriage, a divine connection, very high connection, spiritual connection. And then we have the La Superbia, and this is all about pride, arrogance, haughtiness, vanity. And then the last card that we have is all about sensitivity, tact, irritability, frivolousness, something that's not serious. Okay, which is why so many of you are crushed. So for many of you, you met this divine love. Could be a soulmate, could be a twin flame, but you met this divine love and you felt this connection with them. But they arrogantly took off. Or in pride or in vanity, things weren't what they envisioned. And they took off. And many of them took off. You see how it's looking in the past. Many of them took off to go back to the past. Someone from their past. Or because they can't let go of feelings from the past, they couldn't allow themselves to feel this divine strong connection, so they took off. Because they viewed it as, okay, this wasn't serious. This wasn't really what it was. They weren't seeing things for what they were. And they did it without tact. It was insensitive. This card can also sometimes talk about an unwanted or unexpected pregnancy. So for some, maybe there was a child conceived and they arrogantly took off. But it hurt. And for those of you in this situation, it's left you in a state of guarding yourself. And it was the connection that you felt it was. Because for many of you, you know, they were saying that it was very crushing, heartbreaking. It was a divine connection. It still is a divine connection, but you're not communicating, you're not talking. So do a gratitude journal. Do a gratitude journal and watch things turn around. Now, real quick, let me get my angel answer book. That's 52. Let me look that up real quick. Okay. 52, and this is for the card Mending. Have faith that the changes you're considering or experiencing are for the best. So, and they're helping you. Now, situation 2, what we have, clown down. Okay. So we start off with the major arcana perspective, and this is Archangel Chamuel. And at the bottom it says, there's a better way, pause for reflection and insight, dare to be different. Now, in traditional tarot, this would be the Hanged Man. And this is talking about, you know, there's a better way to do things. And learning that the way that we have done things in the past, the way that we have handled things in the past, the way that we have dealt with things in the past is no longer working for us. We have to change the way that we do things. We have to change the way that we operate. It also talks about things being suspended. You see how he's just kind of hanging upside down? Things being on hold. So for some, you have come through a very challenging experience. But now you're at this state of like peace. But you're not moving forward. Things are just kind of suspended in time. And so for some of you, it's kind of, you have been going through a circus, kind of like a wild ride. Some things that just cannot be described. Like, you will not believe what happened now. But you have just gone through the gamut. It's been a lot. But you are at that point of coming to a place of peace. You know, like when an aircraft is coming into land, the last few seconds, I mean, it can be coming in and the wings can be tipping. You think that you're going to have the wing hit the ground. And then just seconds before you land, you hover above the ground, and that's when the plane stabilizes. And your wings level out. And there's like quiet and peace right before you touch down. That's where many of you are at this point. You've gone through hell. There's that country song, if you're going through hell, keep on going. Because the faster you get through it, the faster you can get beyond it. So you're at the point that it's over. It's at the completion. It's in the final completion stages. So maybe some of you have been going through a divorce. You're just simply waiting on the divorce paperwork. Or for some of you, maybe you're getting ready for retirement. You're simply waiting on the retirement paperwork. Or you're changing jobs, you're just simply finishing up your last 2 weeks with company. But you have been through a lot, and you are at the completion stage. But you're at that point of peace. But you're also at that point that you do need to start doing things differently. So maybe you separated from your mate because you were closed off emotionally, or maybe there were some addictions in order to find love in the future, you have to change the way that you do things. You're going to have to open up your heart. You're going to have to give up the addiction. So maybe you look at porn all the time online. You'll have to stop doing that. Or maybe if you have a drinking problem, you'll have to stop doing that. It is changing the way you do things so you don't have to go through this circus again. And this is a major arcana. So for those of you that have gone through all these changes and have had to let a lot of things go, it was destined. It was meant to be, because it was meant to turn things around in your life for you. Now, as far as what's blocking you, you have another major arcana. It's 11. It's strength, Archangel Ariel. On the bottom it says strength and grace through kindness, self-confidence, and forgiveness. And this is all about having great strength and compassion, being kind and compassionate to ourselves and to others, having the confidence, having the inner strength, not denying our power, stepping into our power, and also not doing things to the extreme. It's interesting. So this is an 11 in her deck. But she's got it titled the Strength card. And in traditional tarot, the Strength card is a number 8. And you've got this dove up here holding the infinity symbol, which looks like an 8. Which is all about divine love. Never ending. Eternal. And that's interesting. Remember this gal? Doves mate for life. She has her white dove. And there's another white dove. So for some of you, you could be situation 1, your mate could be situation 2, or vice versa. But you have the dove there. It's got the infinity symbol, the sun setting, completion of a cycle. But in traditional tarot, 11 is justice. It's the justice card. So for some of you, you are very well going through a legal battle. You're having to go through a divorce. You're having to separate things. You could be going through a legal battle at work, but you've had to go through this legal battle. You've had to have a lot of strength. And what's blocking you now is you're just kind of out of strength. You're kind of worn out. You're kind of beat up. You're just like, oh my gosh, I've been going through this for so long. And for some of you, there's delays. So for some of you, there's delays to like divorce proceedings, legal proceedings. There's a delay to completing this cycle so you can move on to the next cycle. And that's frustrating you. And that's why you're also like, I just want to give up and be done. But don't be done. Okay, because what you're unaware of is peace. And this is card 23, and this is all about freedom from attachment, radical acceptance. It's about harmony. It's about happiness. It's also, when it comes into play with like relationships, it actually talks about relationships where there's actually a harmony between two people. They're on the same page. And right now, you're still in these final stages of completing things. But to find your inner peace, to find your inner calm. There's that white dove again. Extending an olive branch. Okay, so for some of you, what you are unaware of is although you have a chapter ending, and for some of you it is painful, it's not been easy. It's been a struggle. You are on the brink of peace, but you are also on the brink of new beginnings. You see how there's like this head in there, and it's got a star at the top in this egg. This is divinely guided. I mean, obviously you have 2 major arcanas. This change is divinely guided. And for some of you, there have had to been some delays. So for some of you, you're really frustrated because it's like, oh my gosh, when is this going to finally be over? The delays have been divinely orchestrated so that you can come to place of peace. For some of you, so you can finish your spiritual awakening, so that you can prepare for the new beginning. Eggs, giving birth to a new beginning. So what you're unaware of is that this ending, this stuff that you've had to go through, is leading to a new beginning. And so for those of you that it's changing your perspective. So maybe it's changing the way that you do things with love, so that as soon as this is completed, you can find true love, divine love. You have these hearts all around the egg. So for some of you, they are trying to lead you to a divine love, but you do have to close the chapter with an X. Finish the divorce proceedings, whatever you're doing. Change and shift the way that you do things, also the way that you look at things. They're also saying let down walls. Let down your walls that are blocking you from love, so that you can have this new beginning, because you do have a new beginning that's about to happen. And for those of you that's in other areas, so that it could be work, it could be business, it could be partnerships. Same thing, this is ending so that you can have a new beginning. They're saying the good egg. So you're going to have a new beginning with the good egg. So for hopefully someone that means something. So I guess you had a bad egg and things are ending with the bad egg, and you're going to have the good egg. Okay. Now if I can pick this up. Okay. Now as far as what's recommended that you do, you have watched over. And at the bottom it says, I allow myself to feel safe and enjoy my life, knowing that heaven is watching over my loved ones and me. And this really is all about knowing that you're safe, you're protected, that you are being watched over by the divine, that it's time for you to give up your worries, because a lot of you have been so worried about this, you've stopped enjoying life. So give over those worries to God and the angels, let go, so you can enjoy life again, so you can find happiness again. And it's also to let you know, because a lot of you have been praying for help, you've been praying for things to get done, you've been praying for guidance, and they've been giving you a lot of synchronicities and signs and information. So those repetitive thoughts that you have, those numbers that you keep seeing, those songs you keep hearing, that thought that keeps popping up in your head, that's the answers to your prayers. So they need you to listen to those and take action on those steps. And sometimes, if we're having a really difficult time with situation, we may drink, we may go party with friends, we may go do those things, because sometimes people will do recreational drugs, but it helps keep their mind off of what they're going through. They're saying it's also time to be sober, so that you can hear those messages. Because they're giving you messages, they're giving you action steps, they're trying to help you get through this. But for some, you're not hearing them, because you have other substances, activities, things that you're doing to keep your mind off of it. Now, perspective. Oh, and actually, let me also real quick, let's read the Angel Answer Book for 23. Okay, and that's on the peace card. You are working closely with one or more ascended masters, such as Jesus, Moses, the saints, or the goddesses. This is a message from your ascended master guides, who can see that the answer to your prayers is within reach. They encourage you to stay positive to ensure that you attract the best possible outcome. Now, let's see here. We have the Grand Consolation, the Falsita, and the Sacerdote. Okay. So this is, gratification after a long time, working for a very long time on getting the things that we desire. But the Falsita is all about deception, lies, things that are hidden, things not being, what they seem. They seem to be one thing, but they're something completely different. Hidden intentions. Someone purposefully being malicious. And then we have the priest. Hopefully you guys, let me see if you can see this. Okay. And it's the priest, the man of faith, Sometimes it could be psychologist. It could be okay. So for some of you, this was love related. It's related to marriage. You know, you have all the hearts here. You have these two doves, but they're in opposite directions. So you had this relationship with someone and you were on totally different pages, and you worked for a very long time to try and make that work. A very long time. But it was built on a false foundation. It was built on lies, treachery, deceit. And so now you've ended up single. Just bracer, single. And some of you are now very cold. You don't want to feel, you see how the water's behind the priest here? And he's standing on dry, like dry, arid land. There's not even any grass. There's no growth. It's not fertile. It's dead. So for some of you, because this has fallen totally apart and you've had to finally see it for what it is, you're feeling dead inside. And you've now closed yourself off to any future love. See how he's completely robed? He's completely covered. And you also have this dead tree. So for those of you that this was a marriage that fell apart, you tried and you tried and tried and tried for years, but it was the entire relationship was always built on lies, deceit, cheating, infidelity, deception, malicious intent, hiding things. So now you're alone and not wanting to feel emotions. And they're trying to get you to shift your perspective. Now this interesting thing is this card looks like the world. And the world is the last card in the tarot deck, and the world has all four signs. All four corners of the world. So for those of you in the situation, you have support. You have divine support from all four corners of the world. This is also the end of this cycle. So it's not just the end of this relationship. It's the end of the cycle of you feeling alone, of you feeling emotionally closed off, of you feeling dead inside. Because for those of you that this is an ended relationship, marriage, even when you were with this person, you felt alone and cold and dead inside. That cycle's over. The world is the last one. It means the cycle's over. It's complete. You've gone full circle so that you can go and have your new beginning. And you are going to have a new beginning that's going to be successful. So you need to know that and take the action steps that they're giving you. Okay, so last one that we have, let's put my little angel answer book, is decision. Decision, 5 of Gabriel, 12, and Father. Okay, so decision's a major arcana. It's Archangel Jophiel at the top, and at the bottom it says, release yourself from that which holds you back. A need to detox unnecessary worry based on a lack of self-confidence. In the traditional tarot, this would be the devil. And this is all about, you know, breaking free of things that hold us back. See how she's opened the cage and they're finally flying free? But she can help you release those feelings of hopelessness, of fear, of worries, of doubts, of things that make us feel trapped, stuck. In traditional tarot, this is devil card where two people are chained to the devil. They can't escape it. For those of you interested in the signs, this would be Capricorn. But in traditional tarot, they're chained to the devil. They can't break the chains. They can't break free. But it also speaks about, you know, pursuing pleasures, blindly, being completely out of balance, doing things to the extreme. Because, you know, so say sometimes if somebody has a drinking addiction or a pornography addiction or I mean, we all have our vices, but when it's to the extreme, that's when it becomes a problem. So for those of you that this was a relationship, you were chained to this person, and there were extreme swings back and forth. But this card is about making the decision to break yourself free of that, break free of the chains that are holding you, break free of that cage. And it's also, it's a good news story in this message, because the limitations that you think, the thinking that you are trapped, that's just something that you have created in your own mind, which means you can uncreate it. Because you see here, hopefully you guys can see this, the cage is open. The cage is open. All these other doves, they've all flown free. But you have this one here. This one, he's staying stuck. There's no reason for him to stay stuck. There's no reason. He can fly free at any moment. And you have all these roses, love, it's lush, it's green. You've got all these storm clouds behind them. At any point, he can fly free of that. So you can make the decision, but those of you in situation 3, you're very negative. You've had a lot of negative thoughts, a lot of doubts, a lot of worries. And that's what's keeping you trapped. But they're trying to get you untrapped. They're trying to get you unstuck. And you can call on Archangel Jophiel to help you with that. Now, some of you may notice that she's assisting you. When she's around, she actually can sometimes have the scent of roses. So does Mother Mary. She has the scent of roses as well, so you'll have to discern. Ask them to give you a sign as to which one it is. But if she's around, she's trying to help you turn things around, to look at things in a positive fashion. If she's trying to help you look at things positively so you can free yourself from the chains that you have allowed to continue to keep you stuck. Because there's no one else keeping that bird stuck. No one is keeping the bird stuck. He's free. And she holds the key that freed him. It's a cool insignia. It looks like an N. But she's freed him. She's unlocked the cage. She's set him free. He's keeping himself stuck. You can remove yourself from that. And she will, Archangel Jophiel, she'll help you with that. Ask for help. Ask for some action steps. Because for those of you in this situation, she's actually already cleared the stuff that has kept you chained. This stuff's already been cleared. But for some of you, you haven't wanted to see that. So for those of you, maybe you're waiting on, you know, official divorce papers. You've already made the decision, you're waiting on official divorce papers, but you're refusing to move forward in a new beginning because you're keeping yourself trapped. You're keeping yourself stuck. You're like, okay, well, what if I can't get true love? What if I'm going to continue to be lonely and sad and isolated? Because for some of you in a relationship, you were sad and isolated the whole time that you were in it. So you're like, okay, well, I think I'll just stay here because at least I'm wrapped up in a cage so I feel safe. Because out there, whoo, roses, man, they have thorns. I don't want to go near those. But they're trying to set you free. Let them set you free. And because those of you in situation 3, you've been miserable for years. Miserable. They're trying to bring you happiness. But you have to help them help you. At some point, we have to take responsibility. We have to take responsibility for our actions. We have to take responsibility for our inaction. They're trying to have something beautiful for you, but you have to fly out of the cage. Now, as far as what's blocking you, you have 5 of Gabriel, and at the bottom it says, a challenge you can resolve, withdraw from the drama of others, have patience with yourself and those around you. And this is traditional tarot. This would be wands, so this is fire. It could be fire signs, for those of you that care about signs, and fire signs are, again, Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. But again, this is for any signs. If this sounds like this is your story, this is your story. But this card's all about having what it takes to resolve the situation. And sometimes, even though we don't have all the details, the nitty-gritty details yet, everything's working out just fine like it's supposed to be. It also talks about coming to a peaceful resolution when we've had conflict and struggles with others, or even internal conflict and struggles. It talks about being empowered to get over petty quarrels from other people, standing back, looking at the big picture, so for those of you in this situation, the thing that is blocking you is you haven't withdrawn from this person. You haven't allowed yourself to go through the change. 5 is all about changes. You haven't allowed yourself to go through that. You haven't allowed yourself to separate from the person, from the situation. And for many of you, it is a person that's love related. For others, this could be a business partnership. This could be, for some of you, it could be a relationship, as far as like a work relationship. But you haven't allowed yourself to see things as they are, to accept things as they are, to move away from the drama, move away from the person who has kept you chained and kept you stuck. Because for some of you, see how she's like sitting here at this puzzle? For some of you, you have over and over and over and over tried to put the pieces back together. You're like, no, I can do this. I can put this back together. I can fix this. You can't fix it. It's beyond repair. There's these pillars on both sides of her. So with a fence, it's kind of like if you have a very toxic relationship with someone, and you have you can consider the fence post. So say the fence post is you, and you have this abusive, it could be verbally abusive, it could be a physically, but it's just a very toxic relationship. And so you're the fence post, you're the pillar. You're the pillar holding up this fence, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna hold this, I'm gonna put all the pieces back together, I'm gonna keep this together. But you have an argument and this person says very hurtful, cruel things to you, and so they drive a nail into the fence post. And then they come and they apologize, and you pull that nail out of the fence post. And then a couple weeks later, big blow up argument again. They put like 3 or 4 nails in the fence post, and then they apologize because they try to bring you back, because again, this is the devil. This is dark. This is toxic. It's anger filled. It's drama filled. It's been hurtful. But they keep pulling you back into it because you've been chained. You've allowed yourself to be chained and stuck in it. So when they apologize and they're oh so sorry, you dig those nails out and you go back to them. And a few weeks later, they put some more nail holes in your fence post. So after repeatedly going back when they apologize, removing those nails, you've gotten to the point that your post has so many holes, because you can't fill the holes back in. You can pull the nails out. They can apologize all day long. But eventually you have so many holes in the fence post, it cannot hold up the fence anymore. The foundation's not there. It just literally falls over. It can't sustain itself any longer because it's so empty, because of all the holes that have been left from all the hurt, all the pain, all the things that have said, all this darkness, the stuff that you're trying to remove yourself from. It's beyond repair. You can't repair it. And for those of you in this situation, you know that because they've been trying to free you from this for a very long time. Now, as far as what is unknown to you, we have a change in the wind, number 12, and this is all about things that are unseen, that have been initiated, preparing ourselves for a storm, feeling a shift, feeling very uncertain about how things are going to turn out, feeling uncertain as well because the winds are blowing in a completely new direction. So for those of you with freeing yourself, stepping out of this environment that you've been in for a very long time, you're very uncertain because you're, okay, I've never done things that way. Because, humans, we don't like change. We resist change. So for those of you, even though this has been a toxic relationship, a toxic environment, you've continued to go back to it because it's what you know. I know it's bad for me. I know they're bad for me. I know this is really ugly. I know this hurts. But I'm going to keep putting up with it because, well, I don't want to have to change things. I don't have to change my life. I don't want to change things for the better. So I'm just going to stay stuck in these clouds and unhappiness and having dirt fly in my face because we don't like change. But nothing ever stays constant. Nothing stays constant. And nothing's also constantly black and white. Because for a lot of you, you've been pulled back in because of gray. But you're going through a transformation now. You are going through a change now. Things are turning around for the better. Because this relationship has been toxic. It's been stormy. It's been in a complete upheaval for years. The two of you have not been on the same page for years. But this storm that's happening right now, this transformation to take you away from that person, that situation, it's bringing about blessings. It's bringing about good things. Soon the storm will blow over. Because storms don't last forever. The storm will blow over. It'll be clear. The skies will be clear. The sun will be shining through. Happiness will be shining through. You'll be on the other side of it. And for those of you that are going through this, it's been very intense the past 6 to 9 months. But you are nearing the end of the storm, they're saying. And for those of you in this situation, you should be out of the storm this month. Or August. So this month, July or August. But hang in there. Let yourself fly free. Now, as far as what you need to do, you have Father, and at the bottom it says, "My true Father is God in heaven, who shines healing light upon me, my birth father, and our relationship." So for some of you, what you need to do is some healing with things regarding your father. Because for many of you in this situation, the reason that you have a toxic, dysfunctional relationship that you repeatedly return to is because you're following in the footsteps of your father. So maybe your father maybe he cheated on your mother. Maybe there was a lot of infidelity. Maybe he was very promiscuous and he cheated on her repeatedly with multiple people, and you knew that. So either you cheat on your spouse, partner, or you attract people and you allow people to be in a relationship with you that are cheaters. There's infidelity, lies. And for some of you, it could be maybe your father was emotionally closed off. Maybe he was very abrasive and closed off and not emotionally connecting with you. So maybe that has led you to not be emotionally open with other people, which could be why relationships don't work out. Could be why you stay in a toxic relationship where that person does not open up and truly connect with you on a deep level, on a meaningful level. For some, it could be maybe your father had addictions. Maybe your father drank. Maybe he had a problem with alcoholism. So in turn, maybe you have a problem with alcoholism. And that drives a wedge in relationships. Drives a wedge with issues and things at work. Or it could be vice versa, because your father had problems with drinking. You attract people who have problems with drinking. But whatever it is, so for those of you that have some father healing to do, when I start talking about the father healing card, you had something pop up in your mind right away. And you know who you are. You know what it is that needs to be healed. So what you need to do this week is focus on doing that healing work. So for some of you, it's going to involve getting an energy healer to help you. Because for most of you in this situation, you can already logically, rationally have the conversation of, oh yes, my dad wasn't emotional, he didn't care, he was disconnected, he was a drinker, he was an angry drunk, or whatever it was, or he cheated all the time. And you can logically share that. You can even think that it's not affecting you. But for those of you in this situation, it is affecting you. It is what's keeping you from being free. It's why you keep attracting toxic relationships, and why you keep tolerating. Because for most of you, this is a person that you've been with for years. It's just like you're chained to the devil. So this dark stuff that needs to be healed from your father, it's like you're chained to that. but it can be healed and it can be broken. You know, you can logically discuss it, but there's something that deep needs to, in your deep core, that needs to be healed. And you can have that healed with an energy healer. Some of you, you can even, there's a number of meditations online. You could find a meditation that you feel drawn to and do that. But you are being encouraged to get this healed with your Father, because they're changing things. They're removing this person, they're removing this situation so they can bring you to greener pastures. But you need to be ready for those greener pastures. So if you refuse to allow love in, they can bring you to a divine love of a lifetime, but you're still not going to let that person in. So get that healed so you're ready, because they are bringing that to you, and they're bringing it to you rapidly. Now, last one, since we pulled angel numbers for the others. 12, which is a master number. Keep your thoughts positive about the future, as what you are thinking influences your future. This is a message to keep your faith and hope strong, because these are strong determining factors right now. Okay, let's pull quick clarifiers, see if there's anything else. Okay, about your situation. So you have the Morte, the Messaggere, and the Desperate Jealousy. Okay, so there's an ending, a complete burning it up, burning it down. So the person's situation that you're chained to, it's over. For some of you, you're getting information that it's over. So for some of you, you're going to be getting the final divorce papers to sign. That's finally done. You're going to be getting the legal papers that, okay, you finally have split up your assets. But for some of you, because you've been chained to that for so long, you know, desperate jealousy is all about, you know, being distraught by jealousy, excessive attachment, doubts, suspicion, worries. You know, he's like going crazy. He's going to shoot himself in the head. So for those of you, because you have been chained to this person in this situation for so long, and like, look at that poor little clueless bird. He can be free. He can be happy. He just continues to stay in misery. So for those of you that have been stuck in this miserable situation for so long, it's been dead, you're going to get news that it's finally over, but you're still going to have that difficult time of detaching yourself from it, because you've had excessive attachment to this person. You've allowed yourself to be chained, and you've allowed yourself to be stuck to them in misery for years. Which is why what keeps blocking you is keep trying to figure it out, keep trying to fix it. It's not repairable. You have to let it go. And that's what they're trying to have you do. This excessive attachment, the time has come to fly free. But that is a decision you have to make. No one's going to make it for you. They can set everything up for you. They can give you tons of signs. They can even set you up with a future person. They can even set you up with a divine, because some of you even have a potential divine love partner. They can do all of that, but until you make a decision, until you fly out of that cage, you're going to be stuck. And you're stuck in a dead-end situation. It is a dead-end situation. It is not going to be repaired. It's beyond repair. And for those of you in this situation, you know that. But it's time for you to accept that and move forward. Let the winds carry you to the Bahamas. Let the winds carry you to somewhere where you can put on a skimpy bikini or skimpy swim trunks and have some fruity beverages and dance away and just start living life, enjoying life. Meet the love of a lifetime. Have some sex on the beach. Whatever it's going to take. They're trying to take you there. Let them take you there. Stop allowing yourself to be stuck here. Okay, so I'm going to pull quick angel answer cards. So we're going to start, we'll go down the row 1 through 3. I'll pull all of them and then I'll read the book for each one. So people in situation 1, if you can think of a question, something that has not been answered or a question you may still have. Ready? Okay, you have clearly communicate. I'll put them next to them in a second. So people in situation 2, think of a question. You have it's up to you. And then lastly, situation 3, ask your angels. Okay, let's read those real quick because there might be some messages in the books for you. Okay, so situation 1. And look at that, you've got 2 dolphins. I think dolphins mate for life as well. And hopefully you can see that well. You've got 2 dolphins. You've got this angel holding the world in her hand. She's got a star illuminated above her head. And the book reads, this situation requires very precise and careful communication. Don't assume that others involved understand what you want or need from them. In-person discussions are preferable, but if that's not possible, make sure your communication method is very thorough. This card can indicate that there has been a miscommunication that is creating a challenge for the parties involved. By clearing up any misunderstandings, you can heal the situation so that everyone can start moving forward again. Okay. Now, situation 2. It's up to you. You see this angel in between her wings, she's pointing at you. The end result of the situation you asked about is entirely in your hands. You can affect the outcome by taking a proactive approach to solving any challenges. Stand in your own power and have confidence that you have what it takes to bring about a happy ending. Don't wait for someone else to rush in and take charge. In order to come to a successful conclusion, this situation requires your unique perspective and experience. And lastly, ask your angels. And you have this person, he's on his knees, he's in a purple robe, which purple signifies transformation, transmutation, completely turn things around, and he's got an angel in front of him. Hopefully you can see it clear. Your angels are always with you. However, you must ask for their assistance in order for them to provide you with the help you're seeking, because heaven respects your free will choices. State your questions to your angels clearly. You can do so either out loud or silently in your own mind. Your angels will instantly help you according to God's will. Your angels may also have special messages for you about the situation you're asking about. Sit quietly in a peaceful place, indoors or out in nature, and ask for advice and guidance. Notice what messages come to you. It's possible that the answers will come to you through It's possible that the answers will come to you through your feelings, hearing, or sight. Or perhaps you will just know the answer. You can also ask the angels for signs during the day to guide you onto the right path. So sorry about that. The puppy is pulling on my socks. She's clearly ready to play. So hopefully this helps all of you. I do wish you an amazing holiday and week filled with a lot of love, joy, and blessings.